What's going on, ladies and gents? I'm the Scotian Canadian, and we are 3 games in to the Habs preseason. And outside of the Domi and Ekblad situation, which I'll talk about later on, I'd say it's been a pretty positive preseason so far. The team is already starting to show that they're a better team than what they're given credit for. But it's only preseason, so let's temper our expectations. You can't put a whole lot of weight into preseason performance. However, it has been very exciting, and I've seen a lot of encouraging things from many of the Habs players. First, I want to talk about our 3rd overall pick from the recent draft, Jesperi Kotkaniemi, number 15. It seems game after game, he continues to get more comfortable on the North American ice. His ability to anticipate plays and make quick decisions is very impressive. He also had that nasty snipe in the first game. What I've noticed most is his ability on those 50-50 battles along the wall. He'll anticipate the play, and as soon as the puck comes in that direction, rather than end up in a battle, he just gets the puck on his stick and makes a pass into the slot or tips it to a teammate. It's just very impressive to watch. Now, even though he looks very comfortable in the NHL, and I do believe he could currently play in the NHL and he wouldn't look out of place, I still think the most appropriate thing for him and for management to do is to send him back to Finland so he can have a year to bulk up and play in the top Finnish league and hopefully light it up as their number 1C. Another player I've been very impressed with so far is one of the candidates to become our future captain, Mr. Brendan Gallagher. He became a 30-goal scorer last year, and already in these first few preseason games, he looks even better than he did last year. His shot is becoming incredibly lethal, and he also has a bit of playmaking skill in his tool set as well. So keep an eye on him. I am very impressed with how he's been playing so far straight out of the gate. I think he wants to show the whole team, and especially the young players, what this team's about this year. Now, another player I've seen improvements in their game is Jonathan Drouin. He came into camp 10 pounds lighter than he did last year, and it is visibly showing on the ice. He appears much faster on his feet than he did last year. I saw some impressive back checks in the one preseason game he played so far, and he also put on display his ability to quarterback a power play. He was all over the ice in the offensive zone, making nice east-west passes, as well as some very nice slap shots and wristers on net, including when he rung off the crossbar. In the short amount of time him and Max Domi were able to play together, it seemed like they were already starting to kind of work out some chemistry between the two of them. It is going to take a while for them to really gel, but there's been flashes of it so far, so that's encouraging. What I was most impressed with in Game 1 of the preseason was the Victor Mete and Noah Juulsen defense pair. They showed willingness to jump up in the play, to continue cycles, and create scoring chances. And it paid off when Victor Mete had a very nice pinch-in from the blue line and got a goal off an assist from Michael Chaput, another player who's been very impressive so far in preseason. I'm very excited the coaching staff has put these two together so soon because they could become a very essential piece to the Habs decor this season and especially in the future. They're both very responsible defensive players, and Victor Mete plays a game that will complement Noah Juulsen's game. Another note I had from Game 1 of the preseason against New Jersey was the speed of Thomas Plekanec. To me, he appears visibly faster on his skates. Now, granted, it is the start of the season, and maybe once we get into the season, because of his age, he could slow down just a tad. But so far, I like the way he's playing. He played great on the PK, as usual, and he seemed more engaged offensively. Another player I like a lot, and who is having a great preseason so far, is Charles Hudon. He is a small fella, but he is incredibly strong. He's great on the forecheck, and for the guy of his size, he can really lay the body. He also has a bit of skill in his toolkit as well. I also like what we've seen from Thomas Tatar so far, one of the pieces we got in that Max Pacioretty trade, and that leads me to Nick Suzuki, who has also played quite responsibly. He played 1 game in the preseason so far, and he didn't do anything overly flashy, but he didn't look out of place, and he made some very responsible plays. The last player I want to touch on right quick is Mike Riley, number 28. One of our left-handed defensemen. I think he is quickly earning himself a spot in Montreal's top 4. He has been very impressive and reliable defensively, but he also has a knack for being able to find shooting lanes and getting the puck to the net. I really like what I see from him so far, and he could be a very important piece to the Habs decor this season. Now, there is one player I want to call out that we should expect more from in these upcoming preseason games, and that's Nikita Scherbak, one of the Habs' former first-round picks. He had a bad training camp last year, and his first preseason game this year wasn't that great, even though he did score a goal towards the end of the game. It's time for him to show that he can find some consistency and become a legitimate NHL player. Now, I still am optimistic about this player. If you watch my Habs season preview, I was quite high on him, and I was hoping he'd get a spot in Montreal's top 6 right out of the gate. So far, it does not look like that's going to happen. He really does have to earn it. But like I said, I'm optimistic about him. Because he's so big, it might just take him a little while to get his legs behind him. But this is a very skilled player with vision and a decent shot. Now, the hot button issue. Max Domi got himself into some hot water in his very first preseason game against the Florida Panthers and has found himself suspended for the rest of the preseason for a punch to Aaron Ekblad. So we've all seen the situation, and I'm going to give you my take on it. Some people might not like my opinion. It is what it is. First and foremost, I have to applaud this team's willingness to battle and to not take shit from anybody. The Florida Panthers that entire preseason game were going around hacking and whacking, and Aaron Ekblad was one of the main perpetrators. So if you're going to be a stick warrior out there, don't not expect to piss off a player, especially a guy like Max Domi, who is at some point going to come after you. I don't want to see Aaron Ekblad get injured. He's actually one of my favorite players, and he has past concussion issues, so you don't want to see a player like that have further trouble with that. Now, that being said, if you're going to agitate all game, be ready to deal with an agitated hockey player. And if you don't want to get hurt, protect yourself. Now, I'm not condoning what Max did. He shouldn't have dropped his gloves and punched a player who wasn't willing to fight, but he got frustrated, dropped his gloves, hit the guy, put him on his ass, and he got the suspension he deserved. Now, for the Florida Panthers and Aaron Ekblad to act like this came out of nowhere is a load of crap. Aaron Ekblad earned those black eyes. And now, Roberto Luongo and Ekblad are going on about how they're going to get Domi back for what he did. And you know what? Power to them. At least Max Domi will drop the gloves and answer to the bell when the time comes. And you know what? I think he'll handle himself fine. That's about it, folks. Montreal plays Ottawa on Saturday, and they've already released their lineups for this game, and it's a pretty much full roster. And with Max Domi being out due to the suspension, we might get to see Jesperi Kotkaniemi centering Jonathan Drouin. That could be absolutely explosive, so keep an eye on that. If you like my videos, please subscribe, and you can follow me at Scotian Canadian on Twitter. Let me know what you think of the preseason so far in the comments. Cheers, guys. Go Habs, go.